The morning sunlight slanted through my bedroom curtains like golden fingers, warming my skin as I stretched awake to the familiar chorus of birds outside, though today their songs carried an odd, insistent edge that made me linger under the covers a moment longer. Finally, I swung my legs over the side of the bed, the cool hardwood floor grounding me as I padded downstairs to the kitchen, where the air smelled of fresh coffee Mom had brewed before her early hospital shift. I poured a bowl of cereal, the milk swirling in lazy circles, and ate alone at the table, the house's quiet hum broken only by a distant neighbor's lawnmower and the soft tick of the wall clock. After breakfast, I grabbed my backpack and stepped into the crisp air of our suburban street, lined with identical houses and manicured lawns, the walk to school, a well-worn path past picket fences and blooming gardens. School dragged on with its usual lessons and recess games, but I lived for the afternoons, racing home to my backyard to kick a ball against a fence or climb the old oak tree, its branches sharing secrets in the breeze. Yet, sometimes, as the sun dipped lower, an unexplained chill prickled my arms even in the lingering warmth, and I'd glance over my shoulder at nothing in particular. Lately, a stray dog had taken to lurking near the yard's edge, its piercing yellow eyes watching me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine, though it never came closer, just stared, as if waiting for something unspoken. One afternoon, as I kicked my soccer ball against the fence, the stray dog was there again, closer this time. Its fur was matted black, like shadows on canvas, and those yellow eyes locked onto me with unnerving patience. I paused, ball at my feet, feeling an inexplicable pull. "Hey, boy," I called softly, not wanting to scare it off. It tilted its head, ears perking up, and took a tentative step forward. My heart raced, part excitement, part wariness. Mom had always warned against approaching strays, but this one didn't seem aggressive. It just watched. I crouched, extending a hand. The dog sniffed the air, then padded over, its tail wagging once. Up close, it smelled earthly, like wet soil after rain, mixed with something sharper, like rust. I scratched behind its ears, and it leaned into my touch, a low rumble in its throat like a sigh. "You need a name," I muttered. "How about Shadow?" "Yeah, that fits." Shadow's eyes gleamed. There was something special about him. From then on, Shadow became a fixture in my afternoons. I'd sneak scraps from dinner, bits of chicken or bread, and leave them near the oak tree. He'd devour them, then sit beside me as I did homework on the grass, his presence oddly comforting. School felt more draining than usual, with friends chattering about video games and crushes, but my mind wandered to Shadow. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of orange, I confided in him. "I wish Dad was here. He'd know what to do with a dog like you." Dad had vanished 2 years ago on a hiking trip in the desert. No body, no clues, just endless questions and Mom's quiet tears. Shadow whined, nuzzling my hand, and I felt a pang of something like hope. That night changed everything. I woke to scratching at my window. Groggy, I peered out and saw Shadow below, pawing at the back door. Heart pounding, I slipped downstairs, careful not to wake Mom. When I opened the door, Shadow bolted inside, straight to the living room, where he curled up on Dad's old armchair, the one Mom refused to throw out. "You can't stay," I hissed. But he just stared, those eyes pulling me in. Then, impossibly, his form shimmered. Fur rippled like water, bones cracking and reshaping in wet pops that churned my stomach. I backed away, tripping over the coffee table as the dog elongated and grew taller, until there, sitting in the chair, was Dad. His face lined with the same stubble, his eyes, now brown like mine, filled with a weary smile. "Miles," he said, voice rough but unmistakable. "I've missed you, son." Terror hit me like a freight train. I scrambled up, breath coming in gasps. "This isn't real. You're not... Dad's gone." But he stood, reaching out, and I felt the warmth of his hand on my shoulder. Solid, real. Hope flickered amid the fear. Was this a miracle? A dream? He explained in hushed tones. A curse from the old lands he'd explored, turning him into this beast. He could shift back, but only at night, and he needed my help to break it. "Don't tell your mother," he begged. "She wouldn't understand." I hid him. By day, Shadow lounged in the backyard, innocuous as any stray. At night, I'd sneak him inside, and we'd talk in the dim glow of my flashlight. He shared stories, twisted versions of memories I thought I knew. "Remember the camping trip when you were 8? He'd say. But his details warped. Instead of roasting marshmallows, he described chasing shadows through the woods, the air thick with murmurs. At first, it was thrilling, like having Dad back. But the conversations dug deeper, unearthing things that clawed at my mind. He spoke of rituals in the desert, ancient pacts with spirits that borrowed forms. "I wore the skin of a coyote once," he murmured one night, his eyes distant. "Felt its hunger, its rage." Those words eroded something within me. My memories began fracturing, recalling playing catch with Dad. I'd now see his hands elongating into paws, his laugh morphing into a growl. Sleep became a battleground, haunted by vivid, unrelenting nightmares. In one, I ran through a barren landscape, sand whipping my face, only to look down and see my skin peeling away, revealing fur beneath. I'd wake screaming, convinced my bones were shifting. Mom noticed my exhaustion, her brow furrowing as she felt my forehead. "You're not yourself, Miles. What's going on?" I lied, blaming school stress, but inside doubt gnawed at me. Was this really Dad, or something else? The dread intensified. I began noticing anomalies that set my teeth on edge. The backyard oak trees' leaves rustling without wind. Birds shunned our street, their songs supplanted by an eerie silence pierced only by distant, all too human howls. Shadow Dad grew bolder, his transformations more fluid, yet sometimes incomplete. A human hand tipped with claws, or eyes flashing yellow in the dark. The strain mounted. I'd stare into the mirror, tracing my features for signs of change, questioning if I was still me. Desperate for answers, I turned to the internet late one night while Dad slept as shadow in the corner. Typing shape-shifting dog into human led me down a rabbit hole of folklore. Werewolves, Navajo legends, skinwalkers, or Yinaldoloshi, witches who donned animal pelts to assume their forms, spreading terror and curses. These descriptions chilled me the most. They mimicked loved ones, eroded sanity, and demanded rituals to sustain their power. My hands shook as I read about their predatory behavior, luring victims into isolation and feeding on fear. Dad had been obsessed with Native American history, especially Navajo tales from his desert hikes. Had he stumbled into something real? The next night, I confronted him. "Are you a skinwalker?" I asked, my voice trembling. He shifted from dog to man, his smile too wide, teeth gleaming. "Stories, Miles. Just stories to explain the unexplainable." But his denial rang hollow, and the air grew thick, charged with unnatural static. My nightmares escalated. I'd dream of ritual games, forced to play hide-and-seek in endless forests where trees murmured my secrets and shadows nipped at my heels. Upon waking, I'd find scratches on my arms, as if claws had raked me in my sleep. Horrors built like a storm. Shadow's predatory side emerged. I'd spot him in the yard, eyes fixed on neighborhood kids, a low growl escaping. Once, I caught him devouring a squirrel, not with canine efficiency, but deliberate, intentional slowness, blood staining his muzzle as he locked eyes with me. "Hunger is part of the curse," he explained later, as Dad, but his voice held a glee that twisted my gut. My identity frayed further. Memories of Dad blended with monstrous visions, him teaching me to ride a bike, only for it to morph into a snarling beast. I started avoiding mirrors, terrified I'd see yellow eyes staring back. The torment grew as more and more anomalies invaded the house. Walls creaked like breathing lungs. Strange tricks of light made rooms appear longer than they were. Mom grew distant, her shifts longer, leaving me alone with it. One evening, as thunder rumbled outside, Dad suggested a game. A ritual, he called it, to strengthen our bond. We sat in a circle of candles in the basement, him chanting in a language that slithered like snakes. The flames danced wildly, and I felt a pull, a compulsion to join. My voice matched his, words I didn't know forming on my tongue. Pain lanced through me, like bones grinding, and for a horrifying moment, my skin itched, fur sprouting on my arms before vanishing. "See?" He laughed. "You're like me now." Terror gripped me. I fled to my room and barricaded the door. but murmurs seeped through. "Join me, Miles. Become." Sleep evaded me, replaced by visions of transformations, my body contorting, screams turning to howls. The next day, I skipped school and delved deeper into Skinwalker lore. Websites warned of their weaknesses. White ash, blessed objects, and confronting them at ritual sites where they drew power. Dad had mentioned a wooded area on the outskirts of town, an old Navajo-inspired shrine he'd visited. That had to be it, the place where this nightmare began. As dusk fell, the horrors escalated. Shadow, refusing to fully shift, prowled the house. His form a grotesque hybrid. Elongated limbs, fur patches on human skin, eyes blazing yellow. He cornered me in the kitchen, his breath hot and fetid. "You can't run, son. The curse binds us." Predatory instinct shone in his gaze as he lunged, claws grazing my shirt. I dodged, grabbing a kitchen knife, my heart hammering. "You're not my father," I yelled, my voice cracking. He morphed fully into the dog, snapping at my heels as I bolted out the back door into the night. The woods beckoned, a dense thicket at the town's edge where paths twisted like veins. I ran, breath ragged, paws thudding behind me. Branches clawed my face. Roots tripped me. But I pushed up, guided by fragmented memories. The thing had shared. Deeper in, the air grew heavy, scented with pine and decay. Anomalies intensified, trees bent unnaturally into archways that hissed curses. The ground pulsed like a heartbeat. Nightmares bled into reality, visions of shifting forms flickering at the periphery. Finally, I stumbled into a clearing, the ritual site. Stones arranged in a circle, etched with symbols that glowed faintly under the moon. Altars of bone and feather dotted the perimeter, and in the center lay a pit of ash. Shadow burst from the trees, transforming mid-stride into Dad's warped form. Skin sagging like ill-fitted hide, limbs too long, face a mask of elongated features. "Welcome home," he snarled, his voice a chorus of echoes. This was no father. The Skinwalker's true form emerged as the illusion shattered. Fur rippled unevenly across its body, exposing raw muscle and bone beneath. Its eyes burned with ancient malice, jaws unhinging to reveal rows of jagged teeth. "I've worn many skins," it hissed, circling me. "Your father's was the sweetest. His love for you, a perfect lure." Terror and rage surged through me. I grabbed a branch and swung wildly as it lunged. Its claws raked my arm, drawing blood, but I fought back, driving the wood into its side. It howled, a sound that shook the trees, unleashing chaos. Winds howling, ground cracking, the struggle intensified. It pinned me down, breath reeking of rot, murmuring temptations. "Join the hunt, Miles. Shed your skin," I thrashed, fingers finding a stone etched with symbols. I smashed it against its skull, ash from the pit exploding in a cloud. But it reared back, its form destabilizing, shifting between man, dog, and something monstrous. A hulking beast with antlers and scales. Pain shot through me as its influence tugged, my body twitching, threatening to transform. I rolled away, grabbing handfuls of white ash from the pit, the lore's weakness. Scattering it, the creature shrieked, its skin blistering. Yet it pressed on, claws digging into my shoulders, forcing me down. Desperation fueled me. I kicked, clawed, fought for every breath in this nightmarish duel. The woods alive with spectral howls matching our battle. I screamed into the night, channeling every ounce of rage and fear, and thrust handfuls of the sacred ash directly into the creature's maw. It recoiled with a guttural wail that split the air, its form convulsing as blisters erupted across its mottled hide, fur slewing off in steaming clumps. The wind howled in fury, trees bending as if to shield it, but I pressed on, scattering even more ash, driving it back toward the pit. "This ends now!" I roared, my voice raw, as its body twisted, man to beast to abomination, before collapsing in a haze of smoke and shadow. It didn't die, but as the first hints of dawn pierced the canopy, it slithered away into the underbrush, a whimpering mass of retreating darkness. Repelled, but not defeated. Stumbling from the woods onto suburban streets bathed in pale morning light, my body was a map of scars. Deep gashes from claws, bruises blooming like dark flowers, blood crusting my shirt, and each step jolted pain through me. But worse were the mental wounds, fractures in my soul no bandage could mend. Trudging home, I heard the familiar chorus of birdsong, its notes laced with an insistent edge from what felt like a lifetime ago, mocking the normalcy I'd lost. Golden sunlight slanted across the lawns, warming nothing in me but a hollow ache. I collapsed into the kitchen, the air still carrying the faint scent of Mom's coffee from her early shift. But the house's quiet hum now felt like a lie. The wall clocks tick a countdown to some unseen unraveling. Pouring myself a bowl of cereal, I stared at the milk swirling in lazy circles, my hands trembling as fragments of the night replayed. The shattered illusion of family, Dad's face twisted into a monster's mask, my innocence tainted by horrors clawing from within. What am I now? I murmured to the empty room, my voice a stranger's. The boy who kicked soccer balls against the fence, who climbed the old oak tree sharing secrets with the breeze. That Miles was gone, replaced by this scarred shell, haunted by unbidden urges, a primal itch to howl at the rising sun, or the way my reflection in the spoon rippled unnaturally, as if my skin yearned to shift. Mom would be home soon, oblivious to the dread I'd pass on in subtle ways. Nightmares shared over dinner, warnings disguised as stories. Maybe that's how it spreads, this curse, blurring the lines between reality and nightmare, making us question our vulnerabilities and unspoken watchers. As I stepped into the backyard to breathe, the crisp air prickling my arms with that unexplained chill, I glanced toward the edge of the yard. There, lurking near the old oak, was a familiar stray dog, its piercing yellow eyes fixed on me with unnerving patience, waiting for something unspoken. As I met its gaze, a flicker of recognition stirred within me. Not fear, but the quiet thrill of kinship, suggesting that the monster I'd banished was never truly gone. It had simply found a new skin to wear. Hey guys, it's Malice here. I really appreciate you sticking around until the end of the story. I'm a one-man operation and trying my best to grow, so if you like what you just heard, please leave me a like. Subscribe if you want to hear more, and please send me any reading requests you might have. I'm always struggling to find new content. Thanks again, and stay scared.